Jehan and I conceived this course to teach theatre as an art form in the classroom using aesthetic means and forms that we use in the professional theatre, but they're broken down so that children can actually use them. Edda is basically the genius of the whole thing. I wanted somebody in who has a lot of experience teaching, who has taught not only in Germany but who's taught in what we call the global south, in areas that have different sensibilities. We've called this course German Methods of Theatre Pedagogy, focusing on group creativity, meaning the group of learners, and aesthetic means is something that we wanted to teach. The course ran in 3 phases. Phase 1 was a 2-week residential phase, which we did at a wonderful campus called Flame, which is close to Pune, where us and the teachers that we work with learned new aesthetic forms and new forms of teaching theatre to children for them, German methods. And it's not one particular German method, it's actually drawing from a lot of approaches.
This is a Culmination.
What?
A Culmination.
Many languages are spoken here, and it was our aim to give the learners the possibility to actually explore their lingual and therefore their cultural backgrounds.
In the second phase, the teachers went into their respective classrooms, back to Jaipur, back to Delhi, back to Bangalore, back to Mumbai, and then they applied these methods in their classrooms.
Every day does not start with a monologue of the teacher, but it starts with a question of the day, in which every learner gives his ideas, his opinions, his wishes, his feelings, his passions, her passions, and every single learner in the group is heard, is acknowledged.
आपको कल के जो हमने काम किए उसमें से सबसे अच्छी बात कोई एक बात जो सबसे अच्छी लगी हो आपको, है ना, और कोई एक बात जो आपको खराब लगी हो, वो बस 2 बातें इसमें पर्ची में लिखनी है।
कल के किए हुए कामों में से मुझे ABCD से अक्षर बनाना अच्छा लगा, मतलब आकार बनाना अच्छा लगा, और खराब काम कुछ भी नहीं।
भाई ये तो देखो आप चीटिंग कर रहे हो, आपको कोई भी खराब बात लगी नहीं, सब लोग ऐसे ही बोल रहे हैं।
I never used such kind of exercise in my process, in my earlier practices, but the exercise like question of the day is eye opener for children, and it's eye opener for me too.
स्लो मोशन में आए, अभी फास्ट फॉरवर्ड में आए तो
What we cultivated in the whole class was Zuschaukunst, which means the art of being an audience. So for us, the process of creating theatre with learners is not just having them on stage, but actually having them sit out and look at what is happening on stage and being able to describe what is happening on stage and why it works. So it's as much an analytical process as a creative process.
We got quite a comprehensive toolbox, you could call it a toolbox. But the good part was that there was a lot of logic behind how and why to use it. And there was a steady flow of these exercises.
I'm really happy to have gotten tools that will help me explore especially these three things, which is narrative, character, and scene construction.
Making a language portrait and having these exercises with language and trying to make the sound of another language, trying to speak in another language was good for them, and it kind of also acknowledges them as a part of the group.
Ka, shi, ko, e.
How to get into chorus work, how to apply some very basic things that we tend to do with drama exercises, but we learned how to break it up and where it's coming from in terms of a theoretical backing of, building blocks towards improvisation, then getting them into a chorus, then maybe adding a layer of text. So it was good for me to understand that, how do you place these elements in your planning, and I was able to directly use that because in the interim phase we were directing a play.
The way Edda and Sophia think about the day and the way they've planned the day, structured the day, has also kind of given me a lot of ideas about how a session can be planned.
The third phase is a phase where everybody came back together again for 1 week, again in Flame, to see what had worked in the classroom, where they had problems, what worked, what didn't work.
Absolutely right. The Seagull people and the chief men, they have informed us. They're very religious people.
It's got too many references to Christianity.
And the world seems to go on.
Being a good theatre maker does not yet qualify you to be a good theatre teacher.
And ye kaun hai?
But how are you going to show it?
You have to be aware of didactics. There is so much around those didactics to apply them to a certain age group, to really meet the children on eye level.
Children become aware of themselves, of their surroundings, of their languages, of their identity, and that they start shaping the world that they live in at the beginning through doing theatre, but we hope that later on this experience will give them a form of empowerment, that they go out into the world and they start shaping the world they want to live in.
Okay, India won the cricket match.